Welcome back to the channel, folks. I've got a reaction video for you today. This is a journalist that went to the Coolock protests thinking that he was more intelligent than the protesters, and he gets absolutely destroyed. I want you to see this because this is a prime example. And by the way, I'm just assuming this guy's educated. I'm just assuming this guy works for a news organization. I don't know who he is. I couldn't find any information on him. There's probably going to be a lot of people saying, why do you not know who this guy is? He's probably a popular figure somewhere. I don't have a clue who he is. I don't keep up to date with pop culture. It's the most boring thing in the world, you know. So I don't know who this guy is. So if he's well known, I apologize for not knowing who this guy is. But he showed up at the Coolock protest and he thought to himself, I am going to get some clickbait right here because all these people are not as educated as me, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to prove that they are all just bigots and racists and homophobes. And he gets absolutely destroyed, folks. So let's get into the reaction video now. Before you watch the reaction video, I have to apologize for one thing. A lot of people have been asking me, where's the buy me a coffee link? I put the links still in the description, but YouTube have taken my ability to post links, so I can put the code in the description. It doesn't turn up blue where you can click it. It just comes up white where it's not a clickable link. And they're asking to scan my eyeballs and verify myself before I can do that again. I don't think they're going to give my ability back to do that. So, you know, yeah. Listen, it is what it is. So for the people who have bought me a coffee, I appreciate that. For the people who want to buy me a coffee, the link's not there. I'll find some way of doing it, you know, if you want to. But listen, it is what it is. I'll sort it out, and then you can get back to buying me a coffee, because I literally do buy coffee with it. I'm not going to lie to you. Some people buy whiskey. Some people buy Colombian marching powder. I just buy coffee. That's, you know, I just buy coffee. That's what I'm all about. Coffee. I'm boring. But I might actually start buying some of those €2.60 pints and Weatherspoons, because that, could not believe it the other day, €2.60 for pints and a Weatherspoons in inner city centre Dublin. Think about that. I'm not even going to give away the location because I don't want people to ruin it. Crazy stuff, guys. These are things that will help your life. So let's get into this now.
For our own, there'll be 14,000 Irish people on the street, 4,000 of them are children. Do you know what I mean? House them first, and then we'll see if we can house the rest of the world. That's all I'm going to say, right?
So 14,000 people homeless, Irish people homeless. 4,000 of them children. Surely that can't be right. Did they say 400 or 4,000? I don't know. Still, even if it's 400, that's 400 too many. No child in Ireland should be homeless. But the Irish people just keep bringing in droves and droves of people. It's A-okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the thousands of people coming in from all different countries. It's fine. Don't look over there when they're sleeping in the hotels and there's Irish people littered all across the streets. I mean, I was in Dublin and I seen it. All these Irish people homeless in the streets, while you've got like non-natives being put up in hotels. Why are you doing it? Irish government, why are you doing this? Why do you hate your own people so much?
When did you get into this?
Wow, we've got Freddie Mercury here. This is wow. Wow. Let me take these out. I admire the guy's bravery showing up like this. You know, freedom of expression is a big thing for me. I think people should be able to express themselves whatever way they feel. This guy's really went all out. Pink hair, sheepskin jacket, wearing the denim, the purple t-shirt underneath. I mean, fair play, man. You know, rocking the Freddie Mercury mustache. Great. Showing up at a protest like this, most people are wearing black tracksuit, black shoes. You know, you eyeballed them from the side, didn't you? Thought to yourself, I can destroy these people with facts, because of, you know, they're not as intelligent as me. They're not as well dressed as me. I bet you I'm going to go in here and get all the clickbait of the day. I bet you that's what he thought.
Well, he's getting them out of the way. Yeah. Why do you think? Why do you think people are so wound up?
Because of the way the media, our media here, portrayals, and because people have a huge distrust in the media because of what they've been saying about us. We are only concerned parents here. You know, you can see we're ordinary working class people. We're air media here. People train us as racist, as far right. We're against people and we're being racist and whatnot. And that's the spin they put on it from day one with us. And that's why people.
I understand that. A few people you've referenced this idea of far right. Do you not think that term far right? What does it?
Like all the topics that he could speak about, and he's chose to ask her about the far right. She's just said to you, the government keeps calling us far right. Yeah, I think it's really bad that they're calling you far right. You have to assume that the person that you're speaking to that's just said to you, our government and the media is calling us far right, understands what far right is, and not to ask them what that definition is as if they're an idiot, because they've just told you they're unhappy about being called far right. So you can reply to that with some integrity and say, well, I think that's actually bad and you shouldn't be called far right. You remember the way journalists used to do things? Remember they had a little bit of integrity? They were always snakes, but they always had a little bit of integrity where they tried to represent the working class people. So that's, once again, showing his arrogance, showing his entitlement with that question alone. I'm not going to lie to you. And showing that he is, define far right to me as if he knows what it is. I'm going to have a gotcha moment.
It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean.
What does it mean to you? Sorry, can I ask you a question? What does far right mean to you?
Do you want to be on camera?
No, I don't mind.
If you don't, then I'm
I
working,
don't mind.
so
But answer me that question. What does far right mean to you?
Far right means right of the spectrum politically. So it means.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Being right on the spectrum makes you right wing, good sir. Being far right means that you're far right on the spectrum. So if I come to you with your logic, and this is, please sit down with me and have a discussion. Then they never will. If you're left wing, does that make you far left? No. Because guess what? I would consider myself left wing in some aspects. In other aspects, I'm right wing. I take good policies from both sides. I'm normal. I'm just like you, by the way. Because they call you far right, or I call people far left because they're actual far leftists, communists that want the government to have central control of everything, even your consciousness. But to be far right, asking a person like me, I would say, well, one of the things stands out to me about the actual definition of far right is somebody that thinks that maybe their race is superior to all other races, or they're extremely anti-Semitic, or they don't even want to be in the company of anybody that isn't of their race. And I'm not saying white in particular, because you do get far right people that are black and they don't even realize it. They are black supremacists. And that to me is far right. Nazism is far right. So that's the standard that I'm setting. So if somebody comes to me and says, well, define far left, well, I would say a communist in today's society would be to me a far leftist. Somebody who is an advocate who thinks, the government cannot tell any lies, and goes to the butchers to be slaughtered accordingly without even asking any questions, and advocates and will persecute somebody for not walking to the slaughter and being slaughtered. If you get what I'm saying, and you get where I'm going with that, doesn't throw themselves on the fire because the government has told them to. They will persecute people who go against the government's narrative. That's a far leftist. A communist who wants central control, the government have central control of every aspect of your life. That's a far leftist. So they are the levels that I set. So whenever I call somebody far left, I'm not calling them far left because I'm using it as a slur or because it's tit for tat, behavior. It's because I'm actually telling you that these people are far left. Like I can tell this guy's left wing. He's got pink hair. He's got the rock on the Freddie Mercury mustache, but he's not a far leftist. He doesn't want the government to have central control of everything in his life, but I'm sure he probably would put liquid into his body if the government told him that it was going to get rid of the sniffles. Just makes him a wee bit more extreme on the left, but he's not a far leftist. So if you stand up against the government policies, if you say, well, I'm against the government bringing in droves of men, we're told it's women and children, and it's all men that don't speak the language, they've got a completely different culture, where they come from, hurry up and a woman is considered okay. Well, speak up about that. You're a racist and a bigot, and you're far right. Do you know what I mean? And that you're not far right. You're just a concerned citizen. That's what the government's doing here, playing division politics.
Having a particular belief.
What is your belief?
What sort of belief? Being homophobic, perhaps. So you're saying that you
Look,
think
Gavin,
these
will you
people
let
here
the
are
man
homophobic?
finish?
So he said, to be far right, you're homophobic. No, that's not the case whatsoever. Because you can be a far leftist and be homophobic. People don't realize that you can be a far leftist and be homophobic. So, I mean, yeah, there's that. Being homophobic has got nothing to do with being on the extreme right side of the spectrum. The extreme side, extreme right, far right. It's literally got nothing to do with it. Maybe to a certain degree, you can argue that yes, most homophobics would identify with the far right, but I know liberals that don't like gay people, that don't join in the LGBTQ. I know them. They exist. I know one in particular. I'm not going to say their name. They'll never admit that they're homophobic, but I know they are. They're real homophobes. They just can't admit it because most of their policies align with the left and the far left. So, there's that, and people need to realize that. This guy thinks he's more educated than these people, and he's not. And this is a perfect example. I'm assuming this guy has a college degree, a university degree, and this is a perfect example that college degrees and university degrees do not measure your intelligence. They really, really don't.
Sorry, can I ask what else?
So can I ask you what does far right mean to you?
I don't know what far right means. I had to go and look it up because I was being called far right, and then I had to go and look at people that have an extreme view of, that's what I see it as, and I haven't got.
And she's right. People who have an extreme view, but it's not even that either. It is an extreme view. You can have people who have an extreme view could be on the far left because they're communists. They want to erode democracy, and they don't want democracy. Far leftists. It's not just that. It's where you politically lie on the spectrum and how much you want to implement those policies. For instance, I could say I'm a conservative, and for me to implement my conservative policies and just say, or a nationalist, and I just want full Irish people in Ireland, no immigrants whatsoever, complete zero, no immigration whatsoever. And you're not even getting out of the country because you have to work here. Now I'm on the realms of a communist, but I'm actually a nationalist, and I could have conservative values mixed in with family values, and I'm going to go to any length to implement those policies. I'm now on the far right, and I will. And if I have any power, there's going to be punishable by law if you don't go by my standards of living. That's considered extreme right, far right. Same for the left side of things. How far they're going to push for you to comply with their policies on the extreme left. Oh, we don't like democracy. We want communism. So we're going to advocate for communism. If you don't like it, we will hurt you. And we're going to not use democracy to implement communism. We're going to do it via violence. Now you're on the extreme left side of things. Do you understand me? And there's variables in between that, by the way. You can have I've met people with right-wing values that are in support of communism, but in this communistic society, they want right-wing conservative values. One person you could say who's like that is Kim Jong-un. Do you know what I mean? But he's the classic definition of a narcissist, somebody who wants unearned attention. Or you could say he earns his attention, but he wants unearned good attention because he does no good for his country. They're all starving. So that, let's have a discussion about that. This guy doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. This woman understands. She's just hit it. She's just hit the nail on the head. An extreme view. Does she know it in depth? No. But she's done a better job at explaining it than him, this apparent educated guy.
On extreme view. I just have concerns about
Who was calling you far right?
the government, the media here, our media, the Irish media were calling us far right. If we went on a protest, you were saying, oh, look at them, the far right, they're out protesting. Calling us, our own politicians were calling us the gutter. The gutter, or from the gutter. We're upper class people. They're trying to just paint us and say that we're white supremacists, far right. I didn't know what they were, and then I had to go on for this. I'm a concerned parent, and an ordinary working class woman with grandchildren and children, you know, and I'm not political. I don't know anything about politics, but I've been drawn into it through no fault of my own, and having to go into my own research and what this means and what happens.
So he has no clue what to say there. And I don't know how this went afterwards. I don't know if there's a part 2. I would love to see if there's a part 2. I'd love to do a follow-up reaction video to this, but this guy doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. Where he's getting his politics from and where he's getting his range of questions from is basically left-wing social media. Because if you look at left-wing social media on X, Twitter, the lefties on there are so dumb. They are literally the most stupid people on planet Earth. They only have terms like knuckle dragger, racist, far right. They don't even know what they're talking about. And then you go into the realms of the ones that actually are intelligent, and you're in the realms of Marxists, cultural Marxists, communists that do not like society. They can't create anything. They're not entrepreneurs. So they want to inhibit society from growth because they're so angry with themselves that they're not capable of anything good. That's what you're seeing here with cultural Marxism and communism, you know, the far lefties in Ireland. He's neither. He's just an idiot who thinks he's intelligent because he's got a college degree, and he doesn't have any type of a degree. He's probably got a degree in Taylor Swift. Do you know what I mean? And this is what the discussion is today with people who have college degrees. First off, they get indoctrinated in university. They're actually lowering that now to primary school. They're trying to make little compliant soldiers, as one guy I was speaking to last night said, revolutionaries, and in the hopes that that works better, to take out the mum and dad's rule from the child's life. So by the time they get to university, they're already indoctrinated. Half of them have cut their wieners off, and you know they're going to be customers with the big pharma for the rest of their life. There's a financial incentive to that too. So people like this have been indoctrinated in university. He doesn't understand what he's saying. He's just got the social bullet points that he thinks he needs to speak about here. He doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. He would never ever sit down with a person like myself. I'm not saying that I'm the know-all of this, because in some degrees I'm stupid too when it comes to this. I'm learning every day, but these people have no clue. Just dye your hair pink, you know, go into the little social club. He can never deviate away from his politics, or he will be thrown out of that social club, that lefty social club. And anybody on the right, you'll notice this. I can walk up to any of the protesters and disagree with what they're saying. Like, I disagree on some of the immigration things. One person said to me, I want zero immigration into Ireland. It's like, you do realize that Ireland depends on a type of legal immigration that keeps the economy going. And if you got rid of that, the whole economy would go bust. They didn't realize that. They didn't know. Okay. They're on the extreme side of things because they're seeing what's happening to their country, and that's understandable. Where people like this are like, oh yeah, it's okay, just open the borders and letting half of Africa into your country. A Boko Haram terrorist, the whole thing. You know, don't ask her to define the far right, because you don't even know what it is. Think about what he's just done there. He's asked her to define the far right, and he didn't even know what it was. And he didn't know what it was. He thought he was going to get a gotcha moment. He didn't get a gotcha moment. She actually schooled him. And she actually discarded his question and said, look, there's more things to speak about here. There's better things to speak about here. These are just the names they're calling us. Facts don't care about feelings. Fuck off. They're destroying our country. Let's talk about this. He doesn't want to speak about that because that doesn't get the clicks. He wants the clicks for his newspaper article or his whatever, his social media or the media organization. These are the things they don't want you to know. And to end it in this, the biggest conspiracy ever in the world, a true conspiracy, was the lie that was told to your grandparents to stay out of politics. And then they they moved that rhetoric onto you, where they said to you, two things you need to stay out of, sons and daughters: politics and religion. They're two things you need to be heavily involved with because they shape your political and your physical world. So if you don't have a say in religion and politics, especially politics, then you don't have a voice. It just so happens we live in an age where you can I can put out a video like this, but I realized that quite young on, like early on when I was young, when I was being told stay out of politics, and I seen who was going into politics, and it was people like this, dumb cunts who don't have a clue, or snakes, hairy apists, speedos, that were just trying to implement their nasty little politics and to siphon money from public funds. So it's very important for young people to get into politics. If you're not into politics, even in a little way, then you're not doing your country a service, because what you're seeing today is the result of people staying out of politics. You got Simon Harris, the Radkers, all these types of people in politics, and they're snakes. All of them are snakes, even in England. Richie Sunak, the London mayor, look at Hamza, whatever you call him in Scotland, snakes, real racists, real proper racists that want to eradicate a certain demographic from their land, their new land. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So, yeah, folks, that's what I have for you today. Remember, smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Share. Thank you for all the shares again. Remember, channels like this only grow with shares. So know this. If you share to a friend, if you share to somebody, I appreciate that. And I do get a lot of shares, and thank you very much. Hopefully I get the links up and running again in my description so you can buy me a coffee. I know there's a few people that want to buy me a coffee. But listen, don't worry about it. I'm not here for the money. I'm just here, to inform you and to have discussions and build a nice community. And I appreciate all the people that come here. So thank you very much to everybody that likes, comments, and subscribes and shares and does all those things. These are beautiful people. That is the end of the video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace.